Welcome back to another episode of Sound Pals Go to the Movies. Today I'll be reviewing the movie Monkey Man. So just fair warning, there's going to be spoilers up ahead, so you've been warned. An anonymous young man unleashes a campaign of vengeance against the corrupt leaders who murdered his mother and continue to systematically victimize the poor and powerless. So let's begin with my first pro. We finally got Dev Patel his directorial debut, and the story behind making the movie is quite interesting, from having broken bones during the shooting to being postponed due to COVID to being set to air on Netflix and then bought by Jordan Peele's studio Monkey Paw. That is quite a journey for a film, but we get to see the director show us what he has learned from being in front of the camera. So he directed, wrote it, and starred in it as well. A triple threat, right? I mean, this film's budget was so low. How low, you ask? $10 million. With that budget, it's amazing what they brought out and showed to us. There's even stories of them shooting parts of the film on iPhones and GoPros. Now that is almost like El Mariachi status. Next pro, the main story that are placed in the film. The stories range from Hanuman, Rama, and Sikta, and the poem Ramayana, which is sort of like the compilation of their epic battles and journeys. This serves as stories that hold value from the Hindu religion. I had to look them up once I got home to better understand the film and what it wanted to bring forth. Also, the struggle in modern society by showing the temple with the transgender people versus established government and how they are corruptly abusing their power. All this was shown during the celebration of Diwali, the triumph of light versus dark, good versus evil, justice versus corruption. At the same time, all these elements blended so well into the movie that they did not seem to overlap. They seemed to go hand in hand, especially with the right fight scenes and the choreography that was involved. Next pro, the soundtrack. Before Jordan Peele got this, there was another composer who was involved in the project, so we will never get to see or hear that part. But after they put Jet Kersell, he is more known for making the music for The Pope's Exorcist, Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities, and even Overlord. So that might give you an idea of what he brought to this film. So for this film, the music went well. It really got you going, especially during the fight scenes, and never stopped. But also during the slow pace background story setup parts, it held your attention, which is a good thing to do. You cannot only have the talent to compose action parts, you also have to have the other side, which is the slow compassion side, and he did a good job. Next pro, nice John Wick reference with the gun salesman. It was there, and I think Dev wanted to acknowledge that he had some people who worked on the film that he brought aboard. Since the hype of this film was basically portraying this as a John Wick in Mumbai movie, the choreography from some fights were just there. It was said John Wick all over. Also, my favorite fight scene was in the elevator when he used the knife to stab a bodyguard in the throat. Then when he couldn't use his hands, he used his mouth to drive the knife even deeper. And at the end, give it a final twist. That was pure John Wick style, and everybody in the audience agreed. Actually, I wish there was more of that instead of the shaky cam. And now on to my cons. I would have to say that the movie seemed to be split into two parts and shot by two different people. Not that it is a bad thing, because you can tell that this movie had two parts. The beginning where he was blindly searching for revenge and gets beat up by the cop in the restroom, versus the part after the temple when he is reborn, one could say with more of a purpose to be the savior of the unheard, which does play well in this film. But did they really have to do the crazy camera movements in the first part? They wouldn't linger on the fight scene, it was just going everywhere. It seems like those videos that you would see from World Star of fights with the comment, "Great job, cameraman." I mean, just look at the second part. It was more smooth, clean, while the first part seemed like it was a kid who was using his mom's phone to record but didn't know what to focus on. And also, there were so many close-up shots during the action scenes. It felt like it was too tight. I mean, heck, even John Wick's fights took place in open spaces and long corridors, but the pace kept going. But was this done on purpose with the idea of him going from the slums of India to the higher elite areas? Because if so, I never got that feeling, that there was much room in the VIP room versus the alleyways. Next con, the ending left me thinking that it was too fast and too easy. Maybe the fight with the bad guy at the end could have been longer. Have Kid make him say his mom's name or remember her, and at the end he says, "I don't remember her." Then when he killed him, he could have said, "And no one will remember you either." The fight did mirror the celebration outside of Diwali, the triumph of light versus dark, good versus evil, just like the bad guy said before the fight. But I just wanted a little more fight than him stabbing Kid from the spikes in his shoe to later being killed by Kid. Also, on his way up, what was up with the homemade fireworks? I mean, he only had a few and they seemed to do nothing. Instead, I would have just loaded more on throwing knives. If they would have lingered more on him making use of that powder in the temple as he made the fireworks, and then during the fights, the bodyguards reacting to them as burning their eyes or doing something to them, then that would have been fine, and I would see the point of that being in the movie. So my grade for this movie is going to be a 7 out of 10. I mean, the film was enjoyable, the action was there, the message of good versus corruption was also there, but some camera work was not executed properly, and they did throw me off in the first half. I mean, if Dev comes out saying that that this is to show the character's growth from going berserk in search of vengeance in the first part versus the later part where he has found purpose and now he's more focused and composed but still searching for revenge. Then I would say fine, but as of now, I would have to opt that takes you out of the movie. Why not just show him fail in his first attempt, then go to the temple, find his reason, and go back again? Simple as that. I feel that Dev would only learn from this as he goes on further, and I can't wait to see his next film that he directs. So that does it for this review of Monkey Man. Please join us next time when we're going to review The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Hello, can't hear you. Please do off.
Please like, comment, and subscribe. You can find our social media links below, and like always, keep watching movies.